Welcome back, y'all. And in this video, what we're going to be doing, hopefully, is finishing up the remaining shop logic for the back end. Now, in between the last video and this one, I did some thinking, a little bit of pondering, if you will, and I kind of thought through some edge cases and some other things that are going to kind of simplify things in the future. And by the way, another thing that I want to mention real quick is that I hate when people have text on any screen and they kind of just read through it, especially with like slideshows. I'm like, well, what's the point? Why not just give us a piece of paper and we could read it ourselves? But with that said, that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to do this because I also want to think through this one more time and also explain what kind of these changes are in detail. So the first thing is order product creation. So right now, whenever we create an order, what we are basically doing, if I can pull up my model, is in shop, models, order product. So for each product in the cart, or in other words, for each of these cart products, we're basically creating an order product from it. And then all the order product is just two foreign keys, one to the order, one to the product. Now, the issue with that is that since this order product, in other words, these items right here are just a link to the product. Let's say once this is ordered, the user goes ahead and they make some changes to it. So even though, this is kind of an extreme use case, but say someone orders this wooden spoon. Well, then as a seller, I can come in and change this to, a piece of pizza or something like that. Well, then on the buyer's order, the wooden spoon that they ordered is going to say piece of pizza now. Now, of course, that's an extreme example. It probably wouldn't happen, but they can change the image, change the description, say, hey, you see this two small elephant figurines? Actually, I'm going to change that to one small one after you ordered it. So basically, I want to ensure that at the point in time where the buyer orders something, those items should not be changing after they order it. So with that said, that's what this first one is. What I'm going to do whenever order is created is I'm going to take all that product data and just clone it over to an order product. And these order products are not going to be editable. So again, like I said, the buyer's order should not change after ordering, even if the seller updates that product later on. And this is just a little technical thing. I don't need to put the created and modified date on it, since the order products are just going to have the same created and modified date as the parent order. And even though the order products are going to have all the same information as the product, I still want to keep a foreign key to the product. And that way, let me pull this up. That way, let's say that you're a seller and you want to view this product, you can still see all the related order products or orders that it's on. Just good housekeeping. So next order of business, probably shouldn't say order so much, but okay. So to the conundrum of what would we do whenever these items are ordered, because right now we have this status active in draft, and that basically determines if those items show up on the buyer's product catalog, which I'll call this page right now. So this is pretty much displaying all the active products right now. But the issue with that is that even if a product gets sold, then it's still going to appear on this page. So that was a little bit tricky, and we didn't really want to mess with the active and draft status since it wasn't really related to that, and all that was working fine already. So instead, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to add a quantity field to the product, and I'm going to add a quantity field to the order product. And whenever you create an order, we're just going to deduct the order product quantity from the product quantity. So basically, for the majority of these, it's just going to have a quantity of 1. And then whenever you create an order product, that's going to be deducted and have a quantity of 0. But let's say you do sell something like t-shirts or something that may have a quantity of 20. And, this is obvious example. I don't even need to go through it. But if the user orders 1, then, or let's say the user orders 2, then you're going to deduct 2, so they're going to have a quantity of 18. The point being is that once we have that logic, what we can say on this page is this. Show me all active products that have a quantity greater or equal to 1. So basically show me all products that are active and available. And I just think that it's going to be a lot cleaner than trying to mess with our active or draft status or anything like that. Now, with that said, let's see what else. Okay. So another couple like user experience related issues that I had with this cart updating is that, say that you have an item in your cart like this black t-shirt right here. Now, a couple of different things can happen at this point in time that are kind of out of the normal flow. Now, if you added this shirt to your cart, then you must have got it from your product catalog. And since it was in your product catalog, it must have been active, and it had to have had a quantity greater than 1. So basically, when you added it to your cart, it was active and available. Now, once it's in your cart, however, two different things can happen. The seller who's selling this, they could set it or basically revert this product back to draft mode. So it's inactive now, but like right now, they could be changing it to draft mode. Another thing is that while it's in your cart, someone else could order this product. So in that case, even if it had a quantity of 1 and it was available, if someone else orders it and it now has a quantity of 0, then we run into that issue as well. So for these two edge cases, I'm actually treating them a little bit differently, and the reason is this. Whenever you are a seller and you want to deactivate a product, in other words, turn it into draft mode, as a seller, I'm doing that because this product's not ready, or I'm still making changes to it, or for one reason or another, I don't want buyers to be able to see this anymore. Now, in that case, what we're going to do, since I don't want them to see it anymore, I'm making like private changes, I'm just going to remove it from their carts. Now, the logic is a little bit different if you have an item in your cart and it just gets paid for or purchased by someone else. Because then, as a seller, it's not like sensitive data. It's just I want to convey to the potential buyer, hey, this product is no longer available. So the point being is that if this product gets reverted back to draft mode, then it's just going to disappear from the cart because that's kind of what the seller intended. No one wants to see it. However, if it gets purchased, then I'm just going to have some kind of status on the UI that says no longer available, because it doesn't mean like it's sensitive data, just that it's no longer available. And there you go. So that's what this little snippet is kind of saying. And the last thing that we need to do is this isn't anything new. I just kind of wrote it as a to-do list, is that whenever you place an order, basically whenever you hit place order, what we did already is we created the order object on the back end, but we didn't do anything with the payment system. So pretty much the buyer at this point in time is just ordering all these products for free. However, that's not what we want. They do indeed need to pay for it. So a little note about that is that whenever you are selling products, what you can do is you can, of course, give it a price. Like, I want to sell this thing for 200 coins. And then you can either say, like, you pretty much get to pick what currency that you want to be paid in. Now, that means that in your product catalog, these items, for example, these top 3 can be being sold for TNB, and these bottom 3 can be being sold for VTX. Now, the user can add each of these items there, so they may have a mix of products available for TNB and VTX in here, and that's perfectly fine. As long as they're from the same seller, we'll change this UI a little bit to just say that the total cost of your order is going to be like 200 TNB and 400 VTX. So that's perfectly fine, no issues. We just need to validate everything and make it work on the back end. But with that said, actually, oh crap, I'm out of water. So let me go ahead and go get some water, and then we'll get started with all of this. So let me pause my video real quick. And we are back and hydrated. Okay, so when an order is created, clone products to order products, and for that to happen, I first need to adjust my product and order product model a little bit, since they're going to have a lot of the same fields. So I'm just going to make a base class for them. So this is product, this is order product, and right now Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a new abstract model, and I'm just gonna call it item. And these are gonna be the common fields for both product and order product. So both product and order product is gonna inherit from item. And I just want this to be abstract base class. So let me just copy this. All right, so item, let's see, maybe this is kind of an easier UI. Okay, so we have this item. Now this item is not going to inherit from created modified because only product is going to have a created modified date. Let me move this over too. Feels better this way. Okay. Now, only product is going to have an activation status. However, both product and order product are going to have a description, an image, a name, a price amount, and a price core. And also, for the seller, make sure my server isn't running. Okay. And also a seller. Is that right? Even though I don't need, maybe I'll just keep seller on product. Okay. Because each of these order products are going to be related to an order, which are also already related to the seller. But I'm thinking that, that's the decision. You know what? I think I'll just keep it like this right now. Okay. So from I want to import item. Okay, so this product is going to inherit from created, modified, in item. And then a product is going to have an activation status. Let me get this so you guys can see everything. So a product is also going to have an activation status like before in seller. And then for order products, yeah, I'm actually going to remove this created modified date. I don't need it. It just gets all the item data as well. It doesn't need a seller. And then that should be good. Okay. And do I need to... I don't think I need to import item right here. Yeah, because it's a base class. Shouldn't be using it anyways. All right. So this is also going to ensure that aside from like changing a t-shirt to or a wooden spoon to like a piece of pizza or something, what this is going to allow is, let's say that the seller has like a couple of these wooden spoons and they're selling it at this point in time for 100. So whenever someone orders it, it's going to say 100 right here. And then later, if they go ahead and they edit this price, it doesn't change the price right here. So yeah, that should be good. And I'm also going to be adding a quantity field to here. However, I don't need to do that right now. I mean, I could, but it feels like too many changes at once. So let me just go ahead and look at my notes. Order product should still have a foreign key to product, which it does. And just before running migrations, I want to make sure everything's good. Okay. So. Is it possible to add a non-nullable field. Okay, to order product. Okay, this is basically saying that, hey, you added a, basically saying that order product has description now, so you need to give it a description. So I'll say provide a one-off value now, and it's just going to be empty string. Same thing with image. I wonder if I could just give an empty string for this. Same thing with name, empty string, and price amount. Just gonna say 0. Wait, what's this? So price amount, select an option 1. Why is price amount seeing a default of time zone? 0. And for the price core, I'll just say 1. Okay. So those are all defaults, and I'll say make migrate. Beautiful. Now, what do we got to do after that? So this should be updated in Django admin. So I'll say here, actually, let me just run my server, make sure nothing's broken. So make all right, so products, everything is looking same there. And for order products, they now have all the product related fields. Beautiful. Fantastic. Okay. So when order is created, clone products to order products. Okay. So hide this. All right. So shop serializers, when an order is created, which happens right here, this is the product. And I want to clone it to order product. So first I'm just going to say product equals the product, just to kind of pull it off. And these still stay the same. And I think we just might have to do this manually. I can't really think of a fancy way to do this, but anyways, when you create an order product, okay, order product, these are taken care of. Now for item, let me just get my fields here. So I'll say description equals product description. And then I'm going to do it for image, name, price amount core. Image, name, price amount core. Image, name, price amount, and core. Okay. So for each product in your cart, you are going to create an order product from it with all that same information. This order product is not going to be editable, and then you're going to remove that item from your cart and the product stays the same. So when an order is created, clone products to order products. This is to ensure that it doesn't change after ordering, even if the seller updates the product later on. I'll just kind of cross everything out as a checklist. Order products do not need a created or modified date since those values are the same as the order. And I actually just want to make sure on my order model, okay, that I do have created and modified, which I do. And that order product does not, because it inherits from item and item doesn't have it. Beautiful. And order product should still have a foreign key to product, which they do. All right, so now let's go ahead and just test this. So open Postman. My server's running. And let's pop open this as well. Actually, let's just delete any orders that we got. And okay, so we have no orders, no order products, no items in the cart. And let me, all right, so I'm gonna buy this bacon and my address is number 4. So I'm gonna create, well, I first need I don't have any cart products, right? How did I forget? It was just like 2 seconds. Okay, first I need to add bacon to my cart. So for a cart product, add number 1. So cart product, add number 1. And now just verify that I have buyer 1, which is me. I have bacon in my cart. Beautiful. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna create an order. And let me just make sure I got my right token. So this is my token, ends in DG. All right, that's me. So now that I have a product in my cart, I want to create an order from it using address number 4, which is my address. So let me go ahead and do that. And okay. Actually, let me look at my serializers again. So my order product serializer, that's good. Ooh, actually, I don't need this product to be serialized anymore. Because the reason that we were serializing the product is to have all that data. But now, we actually don't want it. Because it doesn't really matter. Let me just get my orders. Okay. So when an order comes back, you have all the order related information. You have your buyer, your seller, and for the order products, this is all the order product data. That is not going to change, even if the product it's related to, which is in this case product 1, even if this information does change, this is still the same, including the name, the image, the price amount, the core, and this is going to be the digital currency, so on and so forth. No create modified date because that's on the order. Beautiful. Cool. All right. Now, next up, let's add quantity to product and quantity to order product. Since they both inherit from item, then we can just add it there. And it's going to be a big integer field. Quantity. And should I have a default? Let me think about this. No, because when they create a product and an order product is created, I want to explicitly set this value, and I'll just have to, in my migration, set the default. So make migrations, add a default of 1. That's fine. Wait a minute, what was that? Oh, this is just for 1 is for order product and 1 is for product. So now they both have quantity. Make migrate, and should be able to run my server, but don't want to do that yet. Okay. So now products and order products both have a quantity, and let's check our do. So add quantity to product, add quantity to order product. Now when an order is placed, deduct the order product quantity from the product quantity. Okay. So this means, wait a minute. Okay. So I'm thinking that, yeah. So now when you are browsing products and you add it to your cart, you can add quantity as well. All right. So the order products that's going to be in your cart is going to have a quantity. And then, oh wait, cart product is going to need quantity then. Alright, had to pause the video for a second, but I'm back now, and another thing that I realized is that since these order products, they don't get created, here, let me pull this up. So the order products, they don't get created until you place an order, and when you place an order, those order products get created from cart products. So what we need to do is we also need to add quantity to cart product. And then whenever you add an item to the cart by clicking this button, in other words, basically the creation of a cart product, we'll have some UI so you can indicate how many you want to order if there is more than one available. So basically, moral of the story, we need quantity on cart.
Come in 1 second. Did you water the plants today?
Hold on 1 second. All right, and we are back again, and where were we? I believe we needed to add a quantity to this cart product. I don't want it to inherit from item. So, okay. Cart product. Make a migration on that. So, make migrations. And migrate that, and okay. So whenever we add a cart product, let me just look at my serializer now. It's going to require a buyer, a product, and a quantity. And all of that should be good still. Maybe some validation, but yeah. Okay. Actually, can I put min on this? Okay. So when adding cart products, validate that the quantity is greater than 0. Say when creating cart products. When creating cart products, the quan is 0. There's my new cart product model, and let's see. Here is my cart product serializer, and what else you need? ChatGPT. And for my cart product view, there you go. And okay. Interesting. Okay, validate quantity. I wonder why I added this. Oh wait, it already had it. Yeah, okay. So validate quantity. If the value is less than 0, then do this. Okay. So in my cart product serializer, I just need to add this to validate the quantity. And this is saying, you can just mark that as static since it doesn't use that self argument. All right. So if value is less than or equal to 0, then just say quantity must be greater than 0, then return value, which is the quantity. Beautiful. Now, whenever we create these orders, then what we are going to want to do is for the order product quantity, we're just going to set this equal to the cart product quantity. Now, another thing that we probably want to do in our cart product serializer, so another thing that we can validate here is we need to check that the quantity being added of cart products does not exceed the product quantity. In other words, let's say that there were 10 of these available. The user shouldn't be able to add 20 of them to the chart. So let's say another thing we need to validate is that the cart product quantity does not exceed the related quantity. That's a very good point. Oh, thank you, ChatGPT. Okay, validate this. That's interesting. What I was thinking it would do is take this logic and just validate it in this validate function, since validate quantity is usually for if you just have if you want to check if a single field is valid, but in this case we are running validation logic related to 2 of the fields. So let me ask, is it better to just stick that logic in? Is it better to stick that logic in the validate method or validate quantity method? I think it may be more performant to stick it in validate, because here we already are pulling the product down, which is going to have 1 query. Now, the way it wrote it the first time is it's going to query it again here. So I think this would just be an extra query. Yeah. It's better to put the quantity check and validate method because you already have a product object available there. Yeah. Otherwise, you would need to access it again, which might not be the best practice. I mean, in a way, it does make sense because, like, it's all related to quantity, and it's probably more readable that way. But this is the performance benefits outweigh the cost. So, quantity is a field that we need, and this is serializer's cart product. Just making sure I'm in the same place. All right. And another thing that we can actually do is to make it easier is this. Okay, so we're pulling off the product from the attributes, pretty much the request, using the product seller and then the quantity that they passed in as well. Now with that, we are just going to check if the product quantity, if the quantity exceeds the product quantity. So after you validate that the product is active, the quantity cannot exceed, so only this many units available. Perfect. Okay, so now this should be good to go. Whenever you are creating your order, you're going to iterate through the cart products, and from those, you are going to get the related product. And for each one, you are going to create an order product with whatever quantity is in the cart product quantity. Beautiful. So now let's go back to our roadmap and see where we are. Okay. When an order is placed, deduct the, we didn't even do this. So we need to deduct the order product quantity from the product quantity. Okay. So I will say this. Okay, so same thing. I just separated this out to a more easy to read variable. Okay, so the related product and quantity is going to come from the cart product, and then we're creating an order product with that quantity. However, once we do, in other words, once we order that product, we also need to deduct this quantity from the related product. So should we do that after the cart product delete? Okay, so let's just say this. Yeah, maybe it's just easiest this way. So after we're done creating the order product, we're going to delete the cart product, and then for the product dot quantity, we're going to deduct the quantity that we ordered, and we'll just do product dot save. All right, so let me read through this one more time just to make sure it makes sense. So for each product in your cart, you are going to create an order product from it that's immutable, can't change. And then after you're done with that, you are going to delete the cart product and deduct the amount of things that you ordered from the product's quantity. And then you're just going to save that product, order product created, cart product deleted, bada bing, bada boom, looking good. All right, and then this is just saying, I won't cross this out because this is saying on the UI, on the product catalog page, will only show the active products with quantity greater or equal to 1. So that means at the moment in time one of these is ordered, even if it's active, as someone's browsing the product catalog, it won't show up, which is the logic that we want. So next up, what do we got? When there's a cart product, okay, cart updating. Okay. When there's a cart product and before ordering, someone else orders the product so the quantity is 0, do not remove the cart product, but instead just display no longer available on the UI. Okay. So in that case, what information do we need? Well, we do not remove the cart product, so we don't need to do anything on the back end. We just need to display the information on the UI. So in order to display this, what information do we need on the UI in order to make that decision? And that is the quantity of the related product in the cart. So let me go ahead and fetch my cart products and we'll see what we're working with. So cart products, okay. Connection refused because my server is not running. Let me make migrations. Okay. Make run server, now get these again. Okay, I don't have any items in my cart. Let me just go ahead and create one real quick. Quantity is required now, forgot. Product 1, quantity, I'll just say is 1. Okay. So now when I get my cart products, the related product is going to include quantity, and then if this is anything but 0, wait a minute. Okay, so this is perfect. So this quantity is saying how many of these items you have in your cart, and this quantity is saying how many items or of those products are available. So if this equals 0, then what we can do is we can just say something like this product is no longer available, and we'll just have them delete it from the UI. Okay, so now let's look back and no longer available. This is going to minimize confusion. Okay. So even though they won't be able to order that product, we don't just want to remove it from their cart in that case because, yeah, we don't just want cart products suddenly disappearing from their cart if we don't need to. However, in this case, when that product is reverted to draft, we do want to remove it from their cart because, I don't know, maybe the seller is putting like private information in there or something. Who knows? But either way, they're indicating that I don't want anyone to see this, so we're going to remove it. So when there is a cart product and the seller reverts the related product to draft, delete the cart product. So this logic is going to go in the product serializer, because upon this change of active to draft made to the product, that's when we want the logic to run. So what I'm going to do is close these and say, in my product serializer, and to make it easier, I'm just going to give it my updated models. Okay, just to make sure ChatGPT has all the context that we need to give it, let me give it my updated product model, which includes the item, and of course the product model itself, and here, and then I will give it the product serializer. Maybe even the view too. Yeah, let's give it the view too. Guarantee in the future that there's going to be an easier way to do this. I mean, I know that you can already select files and upload those with I think I got to enable that plugin. But either way, actually I'm pretty sure soon enough all of this is just going to be baked into the IDE. I don't know if GitHub Copilot can, you know, work off this context right now. I know that you can like leave a comment and tell it what to do, but I don't know if it can like think across multiple files yet. But either way, getting kind of distracted here. Okay, when there's a cart product and the seller reverts the related product to draft, delete the cart product. Should I say this too? This is because when the seller, they don't know if they see it. Okay. So let's see if ChatGPT can figure this one out. In order to delete the cart product when it later, you can override the update method and product rate serializer. Perfect. Exactly what we wanted. Okay. Now, here, let me put this in my rate serializer. All right. So in the product rate serializer, we are overriding the update method. And of course, we need to import from models, import cart product. Okay. Why did you import request? I'm not sure. I don't think you need it. And we'll say from models.product import activation status. Okay. So on update here, we're saying if the product status changes to draft, remove the related cart products. Okay. So if activation status is invalidated data, and we need that check because we allow them to partially update this, so they may be updating the product and the request doesn't even, it may not even have the activation status attribute in it. However, if they do, and the activation status is equal to draft, then find any, then pretty much delete it from everyone's cart. Okay. So one thing I'm thinking here to improve this is that if they are passing in activation status and it already was draft, we are probably going to run this query unnecessarily. So let's see what ChatGPT has to say about that. So if they are passing in and the was already draft, then the will run unnecessarily. and I'll give it a little clue so it knows what query I'm talking about. To optimize this, we can first check if it has been changed from active to draft. Okay, perfect. All right, so if activation status is invalidated data, in other words, if they passed it in at all, and the validated data is draft and the instance status is active, then do that, which is what we want. Okay, so let's do this. So this works, however, I just want to kind of change this a little bit for readability. So if activation status is an activated data and the current instance and okay, so if the user is updating the product and they pass in value for the activation status, then what we want to do is we first want to check the activation status of the existing data pretty much before anything gets updated. Now, if this is active and the new activation status is draft, then and only then we want to run this query right here, which basically deletes this product from everyone's cart. All right. So now let me go ahead and lint. And okay, what's going on here? Okay, definition of meta and base class. Created modified is incapable. All right, so let's get some help with this error message. And while ChatGPT is doing that, let me see if I can see what's in. Okay, on line 14, definition of meta and base class created and modified is incapable. Oh, okay. So we have. Is it incapable though? Because this meta abstract equals true and item abstract equals true. So, okay. So product is inheriting from two parent classes, and there's a conflict in the meta definitions. Okay, so they both have meta subclass. There's some overlap or conflict on how they're configured. Might have to find both meta classes or, okay. So pretty much you're giving me two parent classes to inherit, but they both have a meta subclass, so it's getting a little bit confused. As an example, and meta. To fix this, you need to reconcile two meta definitions so there's no conflict. However, I don't see meta in your item model. Did it remove? So I think I might have to do this. Because even though there isn't a clash, I guess it just doesn't like that there's two meta subclasses. So what I can do is just remove meta from item. But before, let's just give the info just to see if there is a better solution. So there's my created modified, and then in my item, I mean, both meta classes are the exact same, but okay, so they have the same attribute, even though they're set to the same value, it doesn't matter. Interesting. Linter. Huh. Okay, that is interesting. So my pi is telling me it's incompatible, but ChatGPT says it's aight. But what I can do is I can just remove this right here, and that should be fine. No big deal. Let me just see if they... make migrations. Wait. All right, what do we got going on now? So, okay, order product. The field product clashes with the product. That's interesting. Okay, order product dot product. The product field clashes with the field product from model shop dot item. Since the order product model isn't shared in your code, I assume it's something like this. Order product has a foreign key to product, yes. And the model item, or one of its descendants, also has a field named product. Mm-hmm. Running your product fields. I don't see what the issue is though. Okay. And the item model or one of its descendants, which is order product, has a name product. You know what I'm going to do is I think it might be better just keep this here. Let me see this. Make migrate. All right, so I think that this is the best solution here. So this code structure, it seems to be fine. It's just that MyPy isn't really liking it. So in this line, and let me just review this code one more time. PVC. Okay, so I think it's just a MyPy doesn't know that these are fine. So what I can do is remove my PYC files. I also want to try just to remove my entire MyPy cache. So let me delete this and lint again. If this is still giving me issues, then we can just ignore the okay. Incompatible with the definition of that, which is not. It is compatible. So I'll say, how do I ignore this in MyPy? Generate better to access the root of the problem. Both are required, they do not conflict. The inheritance list for product. Confirm meta definitions are compatible in both classes are. Yes, I have, but I still don't like that too much. Okay. So before we go ignoring things, actually, let me go ahead and make sure that this is a solution first. So on this line, whenever I lint, it does ignore it. However, let's see what else we can do. So created modified abstract equals true. Item abstract equals true. I mean, they are both abstract classes and they don't clash. So yeah, I think it's fine actually. All right, I think we're good. So let me just make migrations, make migrate one more time. I'll do make lint, make test, and then I think we're good to go. Okay. So what I can actually do is do some manual testing, because what I'll do is this. I will create a product and then I'll add it to Amy's cart, and then I will set that product to draft, and we can see if it deletes from her cart. So let's first create a product. So I'm gonna create a product. And let's just use, I think we need to use form data. Okay. And it's probably a good idea if I run my server, huh? So, where are you at? Too lazy to type this command. There we go. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and add a product, which has a description, an image, a name, a price amount, a quantity, and a price core. Description is hey. In the image, it is going to be, I'll just say this bacon. The name, yo. Price amount, 10. Quantity, I'll say 90. And the price core, this is going to be 1. Okay. So now I created product with ID 4. And it is a yo, maybe a yo-yo or half a yo-yo, who knows. And the activation status by default is set to draft. And then for this item, we can go ahead and add it to a cart. So in Django admin, I'm gonna go ahead and create a cart product. And let me delete this. Make it easier to see what's going on. Okay, so the buyer is Amy and the product is this yo, and I'll just say she wants just one of them. So we have one cart product right here. And now what I am going to do is I'm going to update this activation status. Actually, I'm going to update this to be active first. So now this product is active, and technically she shouldn't have been allowed to add this to the cart, but since we kind of hacked it, did it through Django admin, that's why we had it in there. So now, hopefully if everything works correctly, when I set this back to draft, then it should be deleted from her cart. So this still works correctly, and let's see. Okay, and it didn't get deleted. So what's up? So what we can do to check for this is say, first of all, let me make sure I'm getting the right serializer. So whenever, oh, wait a minute. This is embarrassing. So I wasn't even updating the product. I was just making the same post request again. But what I want to do is I want to patch that product, which was number 4. All right, so that product, which is this yo, delete these ones. Okay, so this yo is in the cart with the product ID of 4. And now I'm going to make a patch request to update this where the activation status, which just to verify one more time. So the activation status of it is now active, and I want to deactivate it So it's active, and then let me just go ahead and deactivate it, set it to draft, looks good, refresh this, and it is deleted from the cart. Okay, that was a fun one. And on that note, I think if we look back in our roadmap, should be good to go. So when the cart product and seller reverts the related product to draft, delete that cart product. And that's because if they're setting it to draft, they don't want anyone to see it, which is different than the logic where if you just don't have any quantity left, because then it's fine if people see it. Okay, now another thing that we're going to do is work on this order payment system. However, before I do that, I actually just want to, what I'm going to do is actually stop the video here, and I want to get feedback on this issue since it's the one thing that's kind of bugging me. Again, to recap what the issue is. So if we go to both of these parent classes, which is, so product is inheriting both from this create modified, and it's also inheriting from item. Now, both of these have a subclass of meta with abstract equals true, just to indicate that it's an abstract class. And whenever I'm linting this, MyPy doesn't like the fact that even though these are the exact same, and ChatGPT said as long as these are cool, then everything's good to go. And also, just in my experience, I never seen any issues with that. However, if there is a better solution out there rather than just ignoring this MyPy issue right here, since I really don't like to do that, then yeah, just go ahead and let me know. Also, if it's just bad programming practice or it really does cause some conflicts for some reason and MyPy was correct in warning me, then yeah, I love to hear that as well. But on this note, I think we're good for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold off on this order payment logic for the next video once we kind of tackle this issue. And yeah, I think we're all good to go for now. So looking forward to that feedback, and I guess I'll see you next time.